in three, in two, and one. And welcome everybody to the most excited, energetic, most crazy FrameCast with the most topics you've ever seen FrameCast in a long time, and the most well lit over bright Drew. Oh my god, don't pull out a pillow. Don't pull out a pillow here. Oh my god, I can't stand this anymore. I'm falling asleep. I'm here with my very tired host, Drew, and I'm your very tired host, Michel, and we're doing a very tired FrameCast in a news media gaming situation where CyberPunk isn't out yet, so like there's not much to say. Things are just being as they are, and nothing much is happening because 2020. We still have some things to respond to from last week. There's a point of discussion that I just wrote up before like I fell asleep almost, but then I had to do this. So welcome to a FrameCast. We don't know how long it will be. Actually, yeah, that is something which stuff says. The Cyberpunk 2077 EULA is awesome. Oh my god, are you excited to like go read some terms and conditions? Actually, I might want to talk about them a little bit because, like, remember last stream I talked about the thing where it was licenses for like streaming. No, we talked about that off air. So like I kind of talked about the idea of like what if game companies would like the way that music has, you have Creative Commons and stuff that will like give you a license to use the music with some restrictions like regarding monetization or remixing and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, what if like game companies or like games would do that for their games, so like whether it would be alright sort of thing to like stream it or not, or whether you're gonna get claimed or not, and whether you can use the music in it or not. Because I mean, we've played games which were like Lego the Hobbit, which literally just has like the movie music in it, and that just gets claimed by YouTube all the time. And then you also have games like Warframe where if you play the music in the background, like it's alright. Apparently, I mean, like we haven't been claimed yet, and I don't want to say like it's alright and then like be held like accountable for that. So don't trust me on that. But generally, we have experiences as though alright, and then there are movie like developers who just really don't like if you use their game or play it because it's like a story game, or like games like Among Us that just grow for it. So I was talking about like it would be great if like there would be some sort of way in which like people can like look at it and be like, this is fine, this is not fine. And now basically Cyberpunk has come out already with like an entire like document stating like, this is what we're happy with you doing, this is what we're not happy with you doing. So it's kind of like clear. So yeah, but yeah, that stuff. Anyway, how's it going, Drew? Aside from being tired.
Yeah. Don't ever think you can migrate an entire website in a day.
Oh my god.
I've spent all day setting up a new server, new accounts and everything. And it's been exhausting. It's been good being home and things, because obviously the lack of face lighting and shit. I mean, I do actually have a lower part of my face. It's just invisible to my... This is actually blue. The hoodie's actually blue.
No
but
way.
You can't tell because the lighting's so bad in here, and there's no way I can get like another lamp or anything in here. Oh, I might be able to get a lamp in here, but it's like it's impossible to light my face up from. Oh, you can see my when I look up, you can see my face. Anyway,
shall I go and overexpose myself like right now? So we'll just be.
Oh, please don't! Please don't! Please don't! Like I will cry myself to sleep if that's the case. And I do have a pillow, However, I've got to say, like, being back home, I wouldn't have expected myself to be nearly as busy as I have been. I've started writing up the next Xeno codex, but I haven't gotten that far in it. I was hoping to be, the script all written and everything as of today, but I mean, as of this week, but that hasn't happened. Cyberpunk is due out. In 20 odd hours from now. I'm not going to play it the night of. I'm going to probably get up a little bit earlier and play it in the morning before work, and then play it after work. Blah 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 blah. You get the idea.
Yeah. People thinking that it's It's just one simple task because it's just one thing. We just say it's one thing, so it should be easy, but it's not. And then you're here.
That one task is made of many, 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 many other tasks.
Yeah. One of such tasks, which is made of many, many other tasks, is called this podcast, which is made of many subtasks called topics. So let's go over the topics. So the first topic that we have is Nintendo continues to hate on their own fans.
I know this. Yeah.
Yeah, which I saw come by on Twitter, which is like a really sad thing, which I kind of want to talk about. Then we have the titular piece, which is what to even expect from CyberPunk 2077. Basically, like CyberPunk is 2 days out from as of recording right now, so like we can't talk about it yet because I mean it's not here yet. But I know everyone, like the entire internet, seems to be like super hyped for CyberPunk. And I wonder, like, every single time, like, super hype leads to, like, super disappointment, is there anything that, like, can go wrong? Can it even go right? What do we personally expect? And, like where do we go with, like, our hopes and dreams?
Expectations. Yeah.
And then, because that's like a discussion topic, and the topic before was like there wasn't much news, so there was not more topics. Like I made a discussion topic about there are no topics in 2020, gaming news in 2020. Like what the hell's going on? Basically, like something which came around, which like isn't interesting enough to like talk about all that much. But like the Prince of Persia remake is delayed because they say 2020 is a weird year, and that's obviously influenced like a lot of things, but is that also one of the causes that like things are slow today? But we want to get like I think we'll get into that. Maybe it will be a shorter FrameCast this week. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see as we go along. What we do have is, as always, what games have you been playing, Mr. Xenogelion, during this last week?
In all honesty, not a whole lot. A little bit of WoW. A little bit of Xenoalice. Apart from that, I've not really had a whole lot of time this last week to play anything, you know. So a little bit of Warframe, but that's about it, really.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it took a lot of time migrating the website and converting to the dark side, as you just done.
Oh God, yeah.
No, I feel you on that. I haven't done all that much crazy, apart from like the regular Genshin, Destiny yesterday. However, there was one thing that stood out for me, and that was that I played the very niche, unknown game known as Minecraft. Which
wow,
I know people are just like going to be tuning out for that, but like seriously, like the thing is I always thought that Minecraft was just Minecraft the thing, like just survival game where like survival sandbox game, and then a friend of mine, Retro, from the stream, came along and said like, let's go play Minecraft. I was like, sure, dude. Do you want to start a world? Do you want to like do something? And he was like, no. I have this like server, and like, okay, let's go check out the server. It was like some sort of like RPG server where like they created cinematics, they created like NPCs, they created an entire leveling system, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, probably this is something which like a lot of you already know exists. I did not know that you could do that within Minecraft. I just thought that like custom servers were just all servers which are just like, oh, we're running a different version of like the Minecraft survival sort of thing. But I didn't know people could create their entire own game within fucking Minecraft, and actually like that was a really good game which I'll probably get back to at some point. It was called Wynncraft or something, which is like, I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but I quite liked it.
Wind or win?
Win with like
Win.
WIN.
I wanna have a quick look at this. Wynncraft.
Yeah.
That did not give me any of the results I was expecting. Wynncraft, oh, right, RYNN. Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought it was WIN.
There it is. It's
so,
play Wynncraft.
Okay.
1,100 players online right now, so it's doing better. This game outperforms Marvel's Avengers. Can you believe that?
Yes, easily. Why is there a store?
I have no idea. Like I know very little about this game other than I've just played a little bit. Apparently, there's like you can buy like VIP class sort of thing, which might have like a little stat increase, but it's not really like a PvP game sort of thing. It's more like a RPG game, which you can actually play together. So depending on like how many people like actually have Minecraft and would be interested in playing this, I might even do this on stream because it's like I quite enjoyed it. It's like it's actually a lot of fun, and you wouldn't believe that, but yeah, it's
I mean, I'm not gonna commit you to something that you don't want to, but like my holiday starts not this Friday but next Friday. Maybe like you'd be down to spend an entire day live streaming doing some of this with me.
oh entirely, dude. Yes.
It's like I'm not interested in live streaming, but I'm like I am interested in this. I mean, see how far it goes and things. It doesn't. It says leveling, but do you actually have jobs and things?
So
do you have? You know.
So as far as I've gotten, and like I know, like I really slowed everyone down, sort of thing, retro down, because what you have is like as far as we gotten, like you have a little start area. You can choose a class. And you have warrior class, you have mage classes, you have like all sorts of classes with different types of weapons, different types of stats, and then as you go along, like you have to like do some tree cutting, but it's not like tree cutting in Minecraft. They just have like their own system in place, and like the more you cut, like the more levels you grind, the more levels you get for wood cutting, the more levels you get for fishing, the more levels you get for mining, and you have levels for combat. And those things you can all expand on your own. And I was always like as Retro just wanted to keep on advancing because he's already very far ahead in this game. I was like, no. I want to get more trees down because I gotta get my levels up. Which is probably like not the greatest thing to do in the tutorial because there are probably better grinding parts. But we did like a dungeon sort of thing, which is like a very short or like early game dungeon. There's like quests, there's like towns and stuff. I haven't gotten quite far into it, and like other than that, other than my play experience, I don't know much about it. But like it was really, really fun, and I'm like, dude, I'm so down to like do it for a day. Even if like after a day we say, okay, this was fun, but we don't touch it anymore, I'm totally fine with that too. But like I was so surprised by this, whereas like I did not know people could do this in Minecraft, and it just blows my mind that people have been able to make this happen.
Is this vanilla Minecraft or is this a mod pack?
This is vanilla, though you can use mod packs to like make it look better.
Well, I think that's just a texture pack. But anyway, right? Okay. Well, yeah. Let's commit to this. Let's make a day of this kind of thing, and we'll get back to your audience of when we're going to do it and go from there. Obviously, I forgot. We're also doing Raft. So we did. God, what did we do? We did. Oh God, we did some more Raft yesterday, which it turned into a lot of infighting between Loz, myself, and Nazeth. I kept on using all the scrap and everything to make pipes, and now I have my crazy fueled. Oh God, what's the name of the damn thing? Engines, and I still don't have a universal on-off switch yet. It's I still have to go to each engine individually and turn them on. But yeah, it's so so really enjoying that. And God, so that was something else. But yeah, let's what else have you been playing? Anything else? Should we move on to the?
Yeah, let's move on to the community comeback. I do want to say that I don't even know what their points were, but I'm going to agree with you. More power is more better. So I'm fully supporting you in this infighting. I will be right there with you. I'll bring my pickaxe. And I'll be power.
No, sorry. There was one line. There was one line that actually got us all pissing ourselves laughing. Where. Oh God, I can't remember who. I think Stebev was there, I think, where I was harassing Loz to do something, I think, and ultimately I turned to Loz and I just said, "You're my mom, Dad," and oh my God, I was fucking laughing. Like we honestly, we just. Absolutely pissing ourselves laughing. Stevev, I think, actually caught it. He was like, geez, Mom. It's like, geez, you're not my mom, Dad.
Hell yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm obliged to inform you right now that Markiplier does have a new Raft episode out. in case you're interested.
Yeah,
Because I remember last time I saw it, I thought you knew about it too, but I'm just going to inform you right now because I know you're following him too on that. So
cool. Let's
move on
forward
to the community comeback, or like the comment comeback or whatever. YouTube comments from last week. So the first comment that I wanted to highlight, that I wanted to bring to you, is that one person by the name of why? That's their name, and I love that. Said, "What is Warframe?"
It's a video game.
It's solidifying my point that maybe not all of our audience knows about Warframe. So thank you so much for commenting in the comments. The bit what I did where I said, if you don't know Warframe, that was actually like justified because of one person that doesn't know what it is, or he's trolling. And then
Clearly trolling.
Yeah. The next comment, trexpaddock says, "Without root beer, there is no life."
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Lars went and bought like another crate of root beer. I think it was yesterday, and as a result, I have no root. Can I actually order any on Amazon? You know, let's rail root beer. I could order some and get it delivered to my parents' place, but I wouldn't be able to take it back with me. I have to carefully think. They got mug root beer as well. Oh, yeah, with the bulldog and everything. Sorry, random derailment. My bad. Next.
I'm not looking at anything. I'm not looking at anything right now, but I mean, yeah. They do have a wide selection. Okay, so Nick Effin says, better lighting? Actually, yes. The amount of glare from Drew's head is magnificent. Which, I mean, right now, like, as I said, like, we were using the latest in ray tracing technologies for last stream. This time, we're using, like, the deep shadow packs, which, like, you know, highlight the...
Going for ultra grim dark here.
Yeah, we're displaying that OLED technology with like the deep darks. If you have an OLED screen, know that like right now about a quarter of your screen is just turned off. These pixels don't work anymore because and because of that, we are saving you energy. We are a very environmental FrameCast because we're the most environmental podcast on the planet because we are saving you energy right now by not displaying that many colors. So
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about the lighting. Anyway.
Oh, man. So then we have DogsConkers, who actually had something to say about Warframe. Drew, take another look at the Steam figures for Warframe. They've started revealing new content in their relays where people log into the game to inspect the new art or the Warframe, etc. So, like, what they've done since TennoCon, I believe, is that whenever someone new comes in, like, they show it in the relays and people can log in to check out. So they can check that out firsthand, which is a great idea because, like, not only like did you have like previously a massive spike in like the dev streams on Twitch, where like the Twitch directory would fluctuate because everyone would like be watching the dev stream and then would leave. Now it also caused a massive spike in the Steam stats because everyone's logging in to see things firsthand. Do you think that this has anything to do with those strong numbers, or would a blip like that not affect the stats very much?
That's a very fair question. No, I don't think that a blip like that would impact the stats that much within the first, oh God, how many, is it 6 months before they start smoothing it? For the first 3 months. After 3 months, they start to smooth out the data and things. So, yeah, within a 3-month window. Could you actually get this? If I could link it to you, do you want to...
Yeah, Steam.
I'll link it to you now.
I can, yeah.
There you go. So that's Warframe itself. So you can see like how bumpy it is on the Steam charts and things like that. So I mean, that could be a dev stream, that could be an episode of 10 o'clock, that could be arbiters. It could be literally anything. But if you go to 6 months, just click on 6 months, you'll see after the first 3 months you have this weird smoothed out curve. Now that will contribute to the peaks, the weird spikes and things, that will contribute to the smoothing out of the curve being higher. But when you've got tiny little bumps and things like that for the latest 3 months, that won't massively impact. So I mean, we've got 44,000 right now, which is a little lower. But if you look at, let's say, 1 year or July, if you just hover over July, you can see 58,000 people. What's called peak in July. We're on 44,000. I wouldn't say Warframe's dead. It's lower than I thought it was, but not by much. I thought it was at 50,000.
When was the last time they did a dev stream, actually?
Oh, God. A couple of weeks ago?
Let's see.
Can
we find the date sort of thing? Because I'm wondering, like, if we go to that date, could we, like, correlate that with... Was it Friday, November 20th? Potentially.
No. It's more recent than that, I swear. Oh, wait, was it? I don't know. I would have thought it was 27th. Oh God, let me have a quick look for you. So youtube.com/play Warframe. Type. Sorry, deafen everyone. Where's the dev streams? Recent uploads, dev stream. So, no. So the latest one was a week ago, which is DevStream 9. Which was the something.
November 27th.
Was it? No, surely it would be December 4th.
Did they do number 10? 9 was streamed on November 27th.
Oh, sorry. It just says a week ago.
Yeah.
So, right. Okay. Yeah. So, that was December 27th. So,
home dev stream aid. Let's see the one before that, because I know that one was like the sound dev stream, which
I actually had a lot of information in.
Oh, did it? Most of the time, like when they go into these specifics. Let's see here. So we had one at the 6th of November, I think. This one was, 6th November, and we had one at the 27th. So if we go and find these dates, I mean, there is not a big spike for the day itself here, as you can see.
Maybe it's Gift of the Lotus that they're logging in for. Yeah. But even so, what's that big one in between?
I really don't know. That's November 20th. I don't know what happened there.
That was a Tuesday. Maybe it was Prime Access or something. I don't know.
It could have been. Honestly, it's like, well, maybe it was like, was that not Deimos Arcana? Did that not come out? No, that came out at 12 or something. Anyway,
I don't know.
I do think it's a really interesting theory. When I started to read the comment and like you talked about the Steam charts at Warframe, I was almost like thinking you would make the point of like, well, they are going lower, and I was like, then like you came up with this thing where it's like, well, this thing that they're doing, like bringing players into the game, could that not like give spikes that like increase the numbers? I was like, shit, I did not think about that. At the same time,
that's not what I was saying. I was saying
the comment was saying that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to like respond to the comment back. I do think that like looking at it, that is actually a really smart strategy. Like what they're doing, like having things available in the game so people can actually go around and take a look at it, take a look around it, like get another feud and just like the feud that is on stream. And because of that, like you're bringing people into the game, and let's say that you and your buddies are watching the stream, and normally that you would watch it just like watching it online, being in the Discord call, but now like, I mean, you're in the game as well. I mean, might as well do a couple of rounds, just might as well do a couple of missions. Like, it's a pretty smart thing to do to like get people in and maybe like entice them to play a little bit more. I don't know how much it helps because we're not seeing big peaks on like the Steam charts, but I mean, it's interesting. So yeah. Okay, those were the bits of the community. Those were the comments that were here for this week. Let's get into the one topic for today before we get into like some discussion pieces, which was like the only bit of news that really caught my eye this week, which was kind of sad. So Nintendo continues to hate on their own fans. Nintendo. Oh, man. After Nintendo has recently struck down a Super Smash Melee tournament, they continue to seek out their own fans to strike down anything that make regarding their fandom of Nintendo property. This time, a listing of custom Nintendo Switch controller cases made in tribute to deceased creator a.k.a, which were for sale with all the proceeds going to a mental health charity. I mean, like how can you like we're struck down by Nintendo's legal department over the use of the word Joy-Con. Like, I just can't believe like how much you can fuck up with this. It's like literally, it's just like custom Nintendo Switch controller cases. I mean, like, I'm not even going to use the word all that much. Like these custom Joy-Con cases, which are like a bunch of people make them, which is like there's no problem with making these custom cases apparently. Then they're made in tribute to like a beloved deceased creator on the like on the internet on YouTube, and I think he also did Twitch, but mainly YouTube, Etika. And then like these things are being sold solely with the purpose for bringing proceeds to a mental health charity, and you're striking that down. It's like, how can you fuck that up? How bad do you have to be a PR to do that? But anyway, whilst Nintendo does own the right of the word Joy-Con, the thing that people think Nintendo took issue with was that on the casing there was like they wrote Joy-Con Boys, which has been like a name that people have assigned to themselves as a group, like basically mainly like centered around Etika, mainly centered around people that like enjoy the Nintendo franchise and stuff. But those people argue that Joy-Con Boys like stands on its own as like it's not Joy-Con, it's just Joy-Con Boys. It's not something that Nintendo necessarily owns the right to. But yeah, Nintendo still struck it down with a cease and desist of infringing on their property. And I just can't believe how fucking tone deaf like Nintendo is with so many things where they're like, why are you striking down things which are just being done because people enjoy your products?
I think, I mean, obviously there was also the whole, I thought you were going to do the whole Smash tournament thing. Do you know about that?
Yeah, I was wondering, didn't we talk about that last time, or did we have it on the top? Because I remember putting it on the topics maybe, but then maybe not. I feel no, we talked about it because we talked about it. Maybe it's like a precautionary strike sort of thing.
Yeah, so they've also done other stuff. So there was a Splatoon, sorry, there was a Splatoon event that was supposed to happen, and they ended up cancelling it because there were many, I think it was like 33% or something like that, of the attendees of the event that had turned around and said, like, free melee, which is the hashtag that's going around to let Super Smash Bros. Melee, is it the N64 one or the GameCube one?
The GameCube one.
Yeah, the GameCube one, to like do the tournaments and things like this. And yeah, so like it's just, oh, what is this chaos? This is just utterly insane. And yeah, so they cancelled another event, and a big thing is that they're not saying like outwardly why they're cancelling the events. They are, subtly alluding, because they don't want to draw attention to the cancellation. So instead, it's up to content creators and maybe gaming journalists or something like that, to highlight the reason why this stuff is getting cancelled is because they are deciding it needs to be cancelled. Like it needs to be cancelled. Yeah, it's all because they shut down name of the event.
Yeah, the Melee event. I mean,
yeah.
The thing which I find like quite sad is that I really enjoy Nintendo, like their products and their ideas. Like if you take a look at like Sony and then Microsoft with like PlayStation, Xbox, it's like not to throw shit at them, but like if you look at these consoles, they're very much like computers which are just made to run custom software, like use custom controllers, and then give you an experience which, like, basically it's a computer, but like limited, but because it's limited in certain ways, it's more of like a plug and play and download experience for people, in which I can just like sit on the couch and like play a game with a controller and don't have to worry about setting up your windows, like loading things up. It's just a very simple thing, but it's still like a computer. And like basically that's also why people compare it to like a computer and look at like what are the specs on it, what like GPU is it running, what CPU is it running, what kind of like hardware is in it. And then you look at Nintendo and you look at like their Wii and you look at like their Wii U and you look at like their Switch. I mean, all of their consoles, they're not the most powerful. they're not like the most balls to the walls, like super crazy, just as competing with PC master race sort of thing, or this console or that console. They're just off doing their own thing, but doing it in such a way like you can't get a PC which is in the form factor of a Switch unless it's like this one-off thing which people have shown off at conventions where like, where Dell is like, I can make that too, but then they never end up making it. And it's like the games they produce are also, I mean, like they're Nintendo games, and I really enjoy Nintendo games. And it's different. Like I would not compare like a new Mario game to like any PC game. I would not compare a Mario game to CyberPunk. I would not compare a Mario game to like Nier Automata because they're completely different. But I still really enjoy Mario games. I still really enjoy Pokemon. I enjoy Nintendo. Everything that like happens at like Nintendo. I enjoy these properties. I enjoy the idea behind it. But then they turn around and you look at Cyberpunk, who's like creating an entire like EULA and things for content creators, like legal stuff, which like they write up in such a way which is just like fun to read, as Steph says. And I've actually gone through it. It's fun to read. Like they actually keep in mind that people will be reading this, and they're throwing in things in like a way that isn't cringy, but it's just like, oh hey, let's just make this a fun thing. They keep the customer in mind. And Nintendo is just like, fuck you, and we like, if you like our stuff, fuck you, and like we're not even gonna speak with you, and we're not even gonna like have any PR facing things because we know you buy our shit anyways. Like, why does this thing, which I love so much, from an idea standpoint?
Sorry to jump on. Like, I don't agree with this because Nintendo aren't saying, oh, in order to actually play Super Smash Bros. Melee on your GameCube, you now need to pay us a subscription fee. They're not saying, oh, in order to actually play the characters, you have to do microtransactions. You don't have to register the physical copy of the game on online, so you can't share it with friends. They're not preventing you from enjoying any other aspect of Nintendo's stuff. They are just preventing this one event from happening, which I personally don't think is the end of the world, right? I don't think that preventing an event which requires a emulator to work is the worst thing that could happen. I mean, yeah, they're not going to make any more money off of it, but it does potentially damage the reputation of the industry, where people go, what's an emulator? I mean, hell, I didn't learn about emulators until I saw someone play Sonic 3 on a computer when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can get that like there are certain things which Nintendo doesn't do, which other companies do. But I do think that like if you see how Melee isn't just like the way that like fans flock around certain things like Melee, like having this game, which they no longer like sell. They're not like, oh, people love this game so much, let's port it over to the Switch so people can play it legally online, sort of thing. Let's support these tournaments. I don't think they've come around and actually like officially supported these tournaments. And it's like if you have people which are so dedicated to like your game and like they're hosting tournaments, and instead of like coming around and being like, hey, I'm gonna support this shit, and hey, we're seeing like channels. I mean, like the way that they went about like content creation, like a couple of years ago, so where they would just strike down anyone that would like make content about them, where like people would be afraid to like put even Nintendo trailer footage in their videos because, oh, Nintendo will strike down this video, sort of thing. It's like, if you're handling your fans in that way, like, sure, it is not like microtransactioning things. It's not like EA or Activision sort of way of like treating your fans in a bad way. But I do think it's another way in treating your fans in a bad way, where I'm like, I don't like that. Like, why can you not see that people really enjoy your product and be like, hey, let's support this, or hey, at least like let people celebrate this product thing, like this love that they have, instead of like striking down most what they do and don't even try to communicate with them.
Because I think one thing that you're taking for granted is the rule, the law that allows for fair use, right? Whereas in a specific part of the world where Nintendo are based, they don't have fair use. It's not an actual thing. You have to get consent before you are allowed to use the thing. So if you want to make a review video about a specific anime, you have to contact the studio that has made the anime and, say that I want to use this. Otherwise, tough shit. You either get copyright claimed or what have you. So when you've got a company that has this very strong Japanese mindset, I'm not surprised that they'll do stuff like this, because fair use is not a thing.
I mean, granted that, if they do that in Japan, and if that's the law, then granted they do that. And, sure, they can be influenced by that. But if you play on, a world stage sort of thing, and you want to participate in world culture sort of thing, it's yeah, you can say that, this is what we do because this is the way that our home country does it, but that doesn't free you from criticism. I think that if you do that, it's still right for people to be well, that's an asshole move, and fuck you for that. Right?
I agree with you, but I think part of the problem is that we don't have a series of rules and regulations that are internet based, right? Mm-hmm. We still only operate the internet on a country by country basis. Right? Mm-hmm. So any data that passes through the UK or is stored in the UK is subject to the UK's Data Protection Act, right? And I had to read that. Oh my God, it's one of the driest reads I've ever had. But my point is that, it's not our property, right? It's oh God. We do not own the right to do what we want with any of this stuff if the originating country does not abide by the laws we abide by. Mm-hmm. Right? So if Japan does not allow for, review of the material because, they just don't, without explicit consent, then we have to respect that law. We can't just say, well, according to my law, I can do what I want.
Well,
but we don't own the material. It's they do.
I mean, I can understand that, but for example, I believe that PewDiePie, for example, owns the right to a couple of his songs which he made, which gotten very popular during the sub war between him and T-Series, and he said that unless you fully re-upload the song, feel free to go ahead and do whatever you want with it. Just use it within reason, and we won't come after you. But if you go and fully re-upload it without changing anything, we're gonna go and strike you because that's within our right. And even though he could legally, in some cases, go after people for using his song, as a lot of music labels are doing right now, he doesn't, because he also knows that the internet is the internet, and remixing things is pretty much part of the internet, and part of the internet culture. So the fact that Nintendo is yeah, we have this law, it's I yes, that is true, but I find it a pretty weak excuse where you're just you're just being oh, well, it's the law, so I mean, you guys are really enjoying our content, but we're just gonna strike you down. And
so just to point out, it's not their law, it's the lack of a law that allows us to do it, right? Because in the UK, in America, we have a law that allows us to have fair use of material for review or satire or whatever. In Japan, that law does not exist. That's the point. Yeah, it's an absence of a law.
Yeah, but I mean, it's technically still they actively use the fact that that fair use doesn't exist there. They still actively use that to go after it. Where they could also just be hey, we just turn a blind eye, or we appreciate this. Just for example, PewDiePie could go after certain people that use his music, but he doesn't because he knows that that's what the internet does, and if you go after things like that on the internet, which it's just gonna make you look bad. and make it look really bad. And like, I feel bad about Nintendo now. Like, I don't feel like supporting it now because it's such a company which, like, I love the ideas they put forward. I love the games they make, but then they go ahead and do stupid shit like this, and I'm like, why? Why?
But look at Microsoft. You know, you're playing Minecraft, which is a Microsoft game, and you know the crazy shit that they've done in the past with making it so that they undermine businesses with web browsers. The whole the thing that blew up in their face with the whole Xbox One, and you have to register the games. The whole Connect is apparently racist thing. You know, there are so many there is no one individual or company that is exempt of that. Everyone's done something wrong. Everyone's done something stupid, and but we still play World of Warcraft even after the whole Blitzchung thing with Activision. We still play Minecraft even though so on and so forth. So the big thing that I feel is not worth losing too much sleep over is the fact that Melee is a 20-year-old game. Right. The thing that we should lose sleep over is the fact that we're still in a world, in a digital world that is divided by hypothetical lines drawn in the physical world. Right. That, we should fucking get over that. We should have a universal law for the internet that everyone abides by.
I mean, I sort of agree to that, but it really depends on how the law is being put into place, because, again, one of the things that these physical lines, or these lines on the world map also point out is different ways in which laws are being put into place. And let's say that this universal law of the internet would be written mainly influenced by music companies, then it would suck. It would suck so much more than what we have right now. And if it would be written by, people in China sort of thing, then copyright wouldn't even exist, because copying things is like most of what they do and shit, where it's oh yeah, you're really good. Well, Joe and I set up something up in our country, or we'll just copy it. It's if that's going to happen, then why would you create something? Because if 10 people just re-upload it, and they're full in their legal rights to just fully re-upload anything you do, and they get more followers because of that, it's that's also going to stifle growth, or stifle motivation on the internet. So what would who would create this universal law, and how would that seems like such a process to me. I would love if that would mean that everyone in the world would just understand that you can use things in fair use. It would no longer be this stupid thing of debate, and you could actually refuse something without having it being struck down for no good reason, and Nintendo couldn't pull these dumb shenanigans. But at the same time, I'm also afraid even if this thing would be put into place by all the world, how could we ensure that it would be something good?
So whatever it is, whatever these laws are, the first and foremost thing is they have to be enforced in real life. So, say we have this thing. Oh, let's pick an easy one. You cannot present to a minor. Someone under the age of 10 years old, anything of adult nature, right? Be it informative, sexual, gratuitous, entertainment, whatever, right? You so that's a rule. How do you guarantee that is not just ignored? Well, whatever you set in stone has to be then acted on in the real life, right? So if someone does something that is not right, they have to be punished in the real world, because they exist in both worlds, right? Kicking them, or you just kick them off the internet. There you go. Oh, if we know it's you, then we have to kick you off the internet. There you go. But then I would say you'd have to have a consortium of, like a United Nations kind of thing for the internet that would go decide these rules and regulations. And if certain countries do not want to abide by these rules and regulations, then they will be completely and utterly segregated, right? The whole point of the Great Firewall of China was to completely separate China from the rest of the world. However, it's got more holes in it than, a sieve.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I kind of worry about is like twofold. Number one, like the example that you give for like, let's say one of the rules would be that that you can't show adult content to a minor and then like classify a minor like under 10, like, or at least like you can't show it. I mean, like I would 99.999% agree with that, because I think that is a very, very sensible rule. However, what would be counted as presented? Like, I would assume that it's like, oh, if I send something like a text, for example, to someone, like, then like I would be in the wrong. But also, would it be if like a site like YouTube, for example, shows something of adult content to a minor? Like, would YouTube be in the wrong then? And it's like, well,
yes.
Like, okay, so both would be in the wrong. But how do we know? So, like, for example, like, let's say that, because I mean, like, for a 10-year-old, I didn't know what the internet was around 10 years old. Like, I was not on a computer. I didn't think it was interesting. But I do know that when I was like 12, 13, for example, like, I would just like go on the internet, like look things up, and like I would like dive everywhere, and like, of course I was 18 if that would be asked, of course. So like, let's say that maybe 9 or 10-year-olds are more like investigative in this internet days, in this like I really don't know. But if they would be, and they would then like show themselves to the internet to be 18 or older, sort of thing, and then it's shown, and then like, oh my god, it comes forth that this minor was shown adult content. It's like, is YouTube or the person that sent it at that point in the wrong if they had gotten this thing where it's like, oh, I'm over 18, where they couldn't have known that like it was a minor, but they did, and then like, how would that play out? Because that is one thing which is really tough on the internet. You don't have verification, you don't have identification, because it's the internet.
So I think one thing to do is you'd have to okay, an easy solution is you give everyone chips. You just put a chip in their hand or something, and it's a proximity sensor. If someone that is in proximity of this device is a minor or however old, then the device either swaps content to something that's safe for them, or maybe it senses it automatically, so any time we swear or something, it just senses it out. Maybe if there's too many swears, it says, it just pauses the content and says, we cannot progress further until either, a legal guardian is present, and they accept responsibility for it. Because in the UK we have a age restriction in the cinema, which is, and videos and DVDs and things, which is PG, which is parental guidance. So it's up to the parent of whether or not the child is eligible to see the actual content.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So maybe we could do something like that. There's a lot of things that we can do, but the big thing is identifying who has who is witnessing the device and things. Which, I don't know. Maybe it could be a watch-based thing. Maybe it is like an implant in your hand or something.
So this brings me to like the second point, which is now even been more like supported, sort of thing, where like the way that you say, where like it will be like a UN thing, and if you don't agree, you would be segregated from like this internet thing. and then you bring up China, and like this sounds a lot like China, like the thing where it's like, oh, you gotta have some way of always identifying you, and that will like only show you what is right for you according to our rules. And if you don't agree with our rules, you'll be kicked out. I would not want that. I would never, ever, ever want to have some sort of like identifier chip to like identify me to the internet, because the entire point of the internet is that you can just like go on there, you can just, I mean, look up whatever you want, be whoever you want, sort of thing. And like this entire thing where it's like, oh, we are looking exactly who you are, what are you watching, and if this is not what we deem is good for you, then we will stop you, and if you do something which we think is bad, we will go after you, and if you disagree, you'll get out. Like it sounds very, very much against its entire Western notion of like freedom and like personal responsibility sort of thing, where like it sounds more like this totalitarian system where like we set the rules, and if you don't agree, you're being kicked out, and you always got to identify yourself, and if you don't comply with the rules, we come after you. It's like, wow.
But that's the exact same thing we have in the West. That's literally, we monitor people already with cookies and tracking and stuff like that. So what's one step? You can monitor where someone is with their mobile phone, right? Mm-hmm. So what's the difference? I have my phone on me, whatever, right? I in the States, piracy, that's against the law. Stealing someone's car, that's against the law. It's exactly the same thing. It's just under a different facade. The only thing is, we hold people accountable in the States, in the West, publicly against companies and things that do stuff that's illegal, whereas some of the negative, nasty stuff that happens in places like China, it gets swept under the rug, and it's like, oh yeah, we don't talk about that. The whole TikTok sending data back to China, right? Like, why has that been swept under the rug? The whole Theresa May, right, recording data effectively storing data on UK-based citizens. There is a law that prevents that, but completely swept under the rug, right? There are rules and regulations that already exist in Western society that are exactly the same as what you're saying is freedom.
I do think that there is a difference between like implanting a chip and like the way that cookies or things in the internet right now identify people. I think that number one is the direction from which it follows. Like if you implant a chip, that's literally like a chip sending information, like with the sole intent of sending your personal like identifier to whatever service requires it. Whereas like the idea of like data collection from like Google sort of thing, or like the cookies, is like the way that they track you is more like, we want to track someone, but like they don't know yet who you are unless they collect more data. And number two is that they're like, in Western culture, they're actually trying to put in laws to protect the citizen from being tracked so much. It's just that the law system is so fucking slow with catching up. But I do think that something like GDPR has gotten some good advances in, but it's still not good enough. I think that like the way that we are being tracked right now, if you would show that to people in like people that read 1984 would just be like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, how did it get to this? But I do think that the only reason that it happens in the Western world, which mostly comes from like the big tech companies that are given free rein because the law hasn't caught up with it yet, or with let's say for example the NSA with the US, like they're also being tried right now because their system of like spying on everyone basically turned out to like not really prevent anything at all, but they just spied on everyone, and that is being tried right now because like there are laws in place which are kind of slow and are kind of outdated, but there are laws that are out there to protect civilians from this sort of stuff. So the fact that it happens in the West right now, yes, it is sort of true, but it's not entirely the same as like I'm implanting a chip in myself right now and I'll just like let everyone and everywhere know that I am where I am. It's just that the law hasn't caught up and techno companies are doing it right now, but it's not necessarily that is what we want.
But the thing is, with a chip, first off, you don't have to send something as specific as name, age, date of birth, social security number. You could just go, this is my age, right? You don't even have to put date of birth there. This is my age. Yeah?
But why would you? But why would you? Why would you only do age sort of thing? Because it's like, I mean, age,
for the scenario I'm
age
giving,
applies to this scenario, but I mean that would be many mortals. And I mean, like I remember when Facebook came around with this thing where it's like, oh, you can't have a Facebook account unless you got to use your real name. And I was like, I thought that was the dumbest shit in the world. Why would I use my real name on the fucking internet? Why would I use my real name on Facebook? Of all places. And now they're like, oh, if you can't show proof of identification, we will delete your Facebook account. Like, that is the dumbest shit in the world. But I mean, like, the fact that people think that that's what it should be, like, I don't think that, like, the internet should know anything about me unless I want to gift it to them, unless I want to provide that. So, like, this entire idea where, like, oh, I got to implement a chip in order to, like, access the internet. It's like, yeah, fuck that.
No. Not access the internet, right? The big thing is to prevent abuse of the internet, right? To prevent people from exposing people. Again, it was just one scenario, right? But pick another scenario for me, right? Just come up with something else that we could come up with, like a hypothetical law.
See, the thing is that I think that your scenario is one in which I think that a lot of people would agree on, that this is something which should not happen. Like showing adult content to a minor, I think that a lot of people would be like, it would be hard pressed to find anyone that is against that, which is why I think it's a good example. But at the same time, like, that shows, for an example which is so good, like, there are still things where I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't quite fit. And if we change the scenario for, let's say, I mean, we were talking about fair use sort of thing, or someone else, where, like, there would be a more gray, like, it would be a more gray law. Because if I were to say, like, oh, like, all content could be used under fair use, or maybe everything could be used under, like, Creative Commons, where, like, a small share of revenue goes somewhere to, like, the original creator, so things could be remixed sort of thing, or, like, memes could be, like, there would be a large argument that you can make for the opposing side. And then if you were to implement, like, things like chips or other solutions for that, like, you're going to have a lot more of an intricate discussion, which I don't know whether either of us is handled to equip right now, given our state of energy right now. But the thing is, like, I am like it's going to be a lot harder because the initial point is already a point of contention. And because of that, like, I would love for there to be, like, uniformity across, like, the internet. And, like, initially, like, I was always of the mind where just let the internet be the internet, because the internet has been fine so far. And I mean, like, why are people trying to, like, do the Article 13 shit? Like, every single time I saw people trying to regulate the internet, it was like, get rid of net neutrality, get rid of, like, memes and Article 13 and shit. Like, it always seemed like a bad move. I do think that go ahead.
So, first off, 100% on board for net neutrality. Internet service providers should not be shaping what you see. Again, that would be a rule. Like, you know, you can't do that. In addition to it, I think that the whole fair use thing, I think that it should be judged on a artificial intelligence based system. Right. So, for example, if you're going to copyright claim someone's content, or you're going to send someone, like, on YouTube a strike or something, it has to be validated by a artificial intelligence, right? It's something that, or alternatively, an actual person that is completely separated from the situation. That would be an easier thing, an actual person. And then they assess it and they say yes or no. So, for example, you know, people saying, oh yeah, so-and-so has stolen, you know, the instance with Crash, right? Cat Crashes use it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas music, which is copyrighted and so on and so forth. And he's like, well, it's transformative. And they're like, well, it's not transformative enough. Yeah?
Yeah. But again,
I think if a third party is completely separate, you know, hell, you could just send someone a message on the internet. Could you please confirm whether or not you think this is transformative enough? Someone completely separate from the situation.
But again, like, that would that person cannot be subjective. That person has to be objective. And if that person looks at, I mean, like that would basically just be a judge. And with the law as it stands right now, I don't know if you saw the Tom Scott video, but I think that like right now, as this law stands right now, to the letter of the law, it would be like the music company would be in the right, even though like we would not think that that would be right. So.
Oh, okay. Here's the thing. Let's say not one judge, but 10,000 judges.
Okay, but
right?
but like imagine right now, like how many hours of content are being uploaded to YouTube? Or like, let's say even for example, okay, remember when Twitch had the DMCA stuff where just like one record label went like, okay, we just want like everything striked? Like how many like thousands and hundreds of clips, like individual Twitch clips and individual Twitch VODs and individual Twitch creators were struck at that same time? And can you imagine that every single one of them would just be like, fuck it, I'm going to appeal it because why not? I mean, like, I feel like I'm being taken over. I'm going to appeal every single thing. And then like 10,000 people have to go over all like that. You can't do that with numbers. Like those numbers will not add up.
So well, yes, it will. Are you trying to tell me that there's there's not enough people in the world?
I don't think there'd be enough people in the world for like so many instances, because like it would be every single clip that was struck, which like for some channels like there could be hundreds of clips of the same moment. And like each would be a separate appeal to which they have to look at, because like check it. No, and if they go over it like that, like check it, it would just be like the YouTube system all over again.
No. We've already said, right, that hundreds of channels with the same clip, right? You know, if it's 100% the same clip, you only need to judge it once, because the second you find it somewhere else, well, we already know it's been DMCA'd. Fuck off.
But I mean, okay, but it could also have an influence, like what the clip is. So let's say, for example, that you are reacting to a creator reacting to you are reacting to a music video. So you're just sitting there like, while the music video plays, which is like clearly not a great thing. Like that would be struck down. But then I make a video about like, oh my god, like these creators on YouTube have just gone wild, and like they are right now just like reacting to video clips, and that's insane. That is crazy. Like look at this right here, and I'll show a very short second of your thing, and in that case, like that will be a piece of review. However, like that piece of you was like copyrighted, but that clip in that context would be different. However, like what you could also say, like if you are reacting to something, like if you're just sitting there the entire time, and then let's say like at the end, something comes up, and then you're just like, oh well, that was really crap. It's like the entire thing up until that moment is kind of like, that's kind of really dubious, because you're just sitting there not really reacting to it. But if you just take that clip of like that one thing that just happened, and you're just like, oh, that is crap, it's like that could be review. But if you clip that would be review. But if you take the entire thing, that wouldn't be.
So my point is, right, if you, first off, you can't base your copyright claim or your strike or whatever on a part of a video, on a part of a piece of content. It has to be complete in its entirety. So if you are turning around saying like, you've taken a 5-second clip from my video and you're stealing it and so on and so forth. Yes, but it's 5 seconds against 5 minutes, right? You cannot just take that out of context. So whoever is judging it, out of these 10,000 people that are judging it, they watch the full thing and they get to decide whether or not, based on the claim made, whether or not the thing has a legal standing, right? So this might be a case of it's not transformative enough, right? That is the internet law that they are breaking. Then the 10,000 people that are watching it, they could go like, this is easily, it has to be 15% transformative. It's only 5 seconds of a 5-minute video, right? It's instantly transformative enough, right? And they just instantly, approve it, sort of thing. 10,000.
So if you were to say, okay, if you take a 5-second clip from like something like that would not be a problem. even like would that not be a problem even without crediting? Because that's what a lot of like YouTube clips or like short creator like user created clips, like they don't really do appropriate crediting and stuff. Would that still not be a problem?
That's up to the law. So if we decide, yes, the law has to, if you're going to use a 5-second clip, but it has to be credited, then fine, we could shove that in the law, right? Or if it's, up to 15 seconds can be uncredited, but after that, it has to be credited. Again, like we can be entirely flexible, but the point is, there is no universal law system, and every country is taking the internet's content under their own wing, right? That's the whole problem with this whole melee thing, or the whole is like, oh, well, we're not, you're taking it out of fair use. This is fair use, so on and so forth. Our country has no interpretation of fair use, so fuck off, right? It's our thing. We made it. We put the thousands of dollars into, hundreds of thousands of dollars into making the thing. Fuck off, right?
However, I mean, let's bring it back to the Nintendo thing. It's like, yeah, because of that, like this happens. I do still think that because they actively do that, like I think that like everyone on the internet, which I'm glad that they have done with #FreeMelee, has the equal right to just go fuck off back to Nintendo, because I think it's like it's just shitty character. But I mean, like, yeah, I think this is a thing with laws and stuff. But I do think, again, bringing it back to Nintendo, like, yeah, I agree because of like the way that laws work and the way that like international internet law works, which is like, things like this happen. But I do also think that at the same time, even though the law in Japan is different, it is still a display of character of a company, which I really can't stand by just as much I can't stand by like overuse of like loot boxes, like EA defending loot boxes. Like that's within their right to try and defend that. I still think it's like a bad display of character. So
I'm going to ask you something, right? And at no point in time is this question to make you out as a bad guy, right? So, so if you're thinking Nintendo as, do you think that they're evil corporation? Do you think you think less of Nintendo? Yes.
I don't think that like an entire thing or person can be judged by like one single thing. I do think that this like shows badly on like character. I think it's just like a move which like portrayed them like in a bad light. I think it's a bad move, and I think that like rightfully you can be upset about that.
Okay, so your opinion is you're upset that they've done something that is untoward to how a company should act. Do you think that's a fair assessment of what I've said?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah? Okay, cool. And again, not to belittle your character or anything like this, are you now going to go sell your Nintendo Switch and your Nintendo Switch games because of this negative image that they have personified based on their actions towards Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament?
I mean, I don't see why I would necessarily do that, because like that doesn't impact the company or like my like. Okay, so the thing is that like your perspective of a company isn't binary. It doesn't mean that like, or at least to me, things aren't binary. It's like, no, it's not like someone does one single act and like, it's like, oh, you're good or you're bad. And like, that's it. I'm just going to hate you from now on. It's just that I think that like the way that they fuck up so quickly in a row. And like, if you like the moment I was writing this down, it was like, a listing of a custom Joy-Con case made in tribute to the deceased creator a.k.a, which was for sale, with all the proceeds going to a mental health charity. It's like, oh my god, it's like, it just doesn't end. It's like, you're looking at that, and like, your PR team is not like, we're just digging ourselves a grave here. It's like, I do think that like, these are like, this is a thing in this point in time where I'm like, that is something which like, as a test of character to like the way that you behave your company, I think it shows bad on you. And I think that rightfully people can call you out on it, and rightfully so. Like I might have been inclined to get more get a couple more games for the Switch, because I don't have a large Switch library, and like I was like, maybe I'll like get an SD card and upgrade my Switch, and then like I'll get some more games, because I've been dying to play Breath of the Wild and like Mario Odyssey. But now I'm less inclined to do so. So I'll probably not buy more Switch games, but I'll probably buy something else. However, selling things because like a company does a move which you don't agree with, like that you own, is so weird, because it's like
Well, no. If so, for example,
yeah, go ahead.
If you sell the console and the games, right, you no longer have the items, but you are also subtracting a sale from Nintendo, right? You are reselling. This is the whole reason why Microsoft pushed to force people to register the physical copies of the games online, is so that you couldn't negatively impact their sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to play Cyberpunk 2077, you had to buy your own copy. So if you sell your Switch and your games to a potential buyer, they are not buying a brand new version of the console, and it is harming their bottom line profits.
I think only to like a very small degree, because there's already a large offering of like secondhand consoles. At the same time, like as I said, like it's not a binary thing. Like in the same way, like will I now never buy and use a Nintendo product again? Like probably that won't not be the case. Like I'll probably at some point use a Nintendo product, maybe play a Nintendo game at some point. But I think like there's more nuance to it. Like I think in the sense of like, let's say that like you have a good friend who comes around and just like trashes your house, sort of thing, because he's drunk, or he whatever, like you beat him in a game, and then he just like he just cusses you out with all the words, and like, oh, how dare you, he's like a really sore loser, sort of thing. Or he does something really bad and like he insults you like pretty bad. Like if it's a really good friend, I mean, like, or even like a remotely good friend, like probably after like half a year maybe, or like after some time, maybe it's a couple of weeks depending on your friendship, like you'll turn around to him and you'll probably hang out with him again. But it does show on their character. Like it will, like it's not like, oh, I mean like I'll probably see them again, so I don't care, and I'm not gonna say anything bad about it because it's either good or either bad. It's like, no. And like that's the same thing. It's like probably like for the foreseeable future, I'll probably not be all that interested in Nintendo anymore, because I mean like I don't like this. But at the same time, it's like I'll probably go back to like at some point buy something from Nintendo, because some of the products they make are good, and maybe at some point they make a good move or whatever. But I do think it shows in their character. And like whenever like someone like a really good friend of you like does something which really hurts you really bad, I think like it's totally fine to like say, oh, fuck off, man, I really, really hate that you did that. I don't think there's no like, I think it shows really bad on you that you did this, and I don't need to see it for a moment because I really don't like this. And I think that that's the same thing, the way, like, I mean, to a far lesser degree, but I sound a little bit towards that with Nintendo, where like, I really liked you as a company, and I still kind of do. I like the ideas you stand for, like with like what the way you creatively do things with your consoles. I like the games you make because they're so family fun, like everyone can understand them and play them. I think there's a lot of things which you do right, and then you go ahead and do this, and you go ahead and like do it so quickly in a row in the worst possible way to things which like are not entirely a threat to you, and you're just so stubborn, and you don't even reach out, and you don't even try and find a compromise. You're just like, oh, fuck you like our stuff, well, fuck you then. It's like, that is so bad. Oh, you like a creator that like was so focused in around Smash and Nintendo, and like Etika, like I've not known much of his content. I still don't know much of his content, but like one thing which I know a lot is like the phrase Joy-Con boys with him, and like him reacting to like Nintendo reveal stuff, and I'm like, dude, like that is a creator which was very much like a thing within the community, which I know a lot of people love. He passed away. Someone makes something in tribute to him, which goes to a mental health charity to like support people who are in desperate need. Like, I mean, during this time where like even in Japan, like I think the deaths, like the death rate of depression is higher than the death rate of the death rate of suicides is higher than the death rate of corona in 2020 in Japan. So like, I mean, like it's a very serious thing, and like because of that, like
citation needed.
Yeah, I mean, like I read that somewhere, so like, so it's like, yeah, I mean, like citation needed, like look it up. And I might be wrong, but like the thing is like anyway, regardless, it's a serious problem, and the like the fact that you're like, oh, let's go strike this down. It's like, that shows on character. And like, again, I think it's nuance. Like, it's not that I hate Nintendo right now. Far from it. But I do think that it shows on character. I think it's totally right for people to just say, fuck you, man. Like, that is really, really bad. And I really don't like that you did that.
Fair enough. I do think that we need to expand beyond this into the whole, planet-wide laws and things like that. But we're still too set. I think it's going to be hundreds of years before we even consider that.
I think there's a lot of intricacies when it comes to like an international law, especially when you look at like how international cooperation and stuff works these days. It's like,
well, I mean, that's what the biggest problem, isn't it? Though it's like, I remember, just to touch on this briefly. I don't want to linger on this. When the Warcraft 3 Reforged fiasco happened, Blizzard turned around and said like, "Oh, we're not giving out refunds." And like, no. I'm an Australian citizen. I bought this in Australia with Australian dollars, right? You have to, by law, give me a refund. We have the same law in the UK.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you bought it through a platform which exists in America, but realistically, the platform exists online. It exists everywhere, and that's why you need, this universal law system for the internet. Look at the shit YouTube's gotten into. Look at the shit that Facebook's gotten into. Look at, if there was a clear-cut guideline everywhere, then there's no way of I'm pretty sure Facebook just got into shit regardless of where they are. They got into it everywhere. But, you get the idea.
Yeah. Anyway. Let's close the book on that topic, and let's open up the book of the FrameCast, taking a really long time before they get to their titular topic. It's now 1 hour and 17 or 15 minutes in.
Which means we're 1 hour and 15 minutes closer to Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah! That is right. We're stalling for time. Do you want to talk about that? Let's actually get back to gaming. Let's get actually to something which we're both, I think, very much looking forward to. Cyberpunk 2077. It's just like 2 days away. And like the thing that I had is like we have 2 days to go, and honestly, like this has been a game which is like unlike any game that I've like looked forward to, sort of thing. I don't personally know much about it because like I've just known for like a couple of years, for like people I watch, people I talk to in like the gaming space, that like people are looking forward to gaming to Cyberpunk 2077. And it's something that like people are buying PCs for, taking days off from work for, and like it's something which is coming. And I was like, I'm not gonna dive into this because I believe it will be good, and I want to like go in as fresh and unknown as I could. But like the thing is that with everyone like having wildly different expectations, and I know that some people are just like having the most insane expectations, especially given the delay and like how long ago it was announced. What do you even expect that's gonna happen? Like when in 2 days' time, what are you expecting?
So I don't know what to expect. Like I think there's only one review that I've actually got queued. So for everyone's benefit, while working from home, I'm quite isolated and things. Yes, I'm currently with my family and things. I get to play with cats and stuff. But one of the things I do is like on the monitor next to me, or technically the TV, I will have like YouTube videos just going on in the background, sort of thing. And just full screen it, dude. Just full screen it. Make it bigger. Make sure that the sound's not coming through and deafening anyone. So I would listen to like loads of YouTube videos and things. I've only queued up one review video, which is by Yong Yeah, who fairly decent YouTuber and things. Tells it like it is, doesn't actually get into too much of the nitty gritty, and gets his facts very clear, doesn't get very emotional. I've only queued up his review of the game, and I will watch it before I get into the game. And I am very much looking forward to it. Like I have this huge passion for sci-fi and, you know, more futuristic settings. One of my favorite films is the Doom. Sorry, not Doom. Fuck no. It's the Dread movie with Carl Urban in it, right? And I love those sorts of sort of dystopian sci-fi movies and things like that. And one of my favorite genres in anime is actually cyberpunk. Now, I do feel that with the cyberpunk game, it's not dystopian enough. Like, you know, you see it, there's still really bright, vibrant colors. Right now, it's really dark and gritty and things like this. You know, everyone's sort of like hushed away. The carpets, you know, there's mold everywhere, paint's chipping off, and so on and so forth. But a lot of the more recent trailers, I think this is the first major trailer that they showed off in 2017.
Yeah, this is like the gameplay demo, which we're looking at right now. Which is like a 48-minute long. It probably came out this year, or maybe even.
No, I'm sure.
Hold on. Let me go take a look. No, 2018. August 27th,
so
2018. Yeah, you were close.
Right. It was close. So 2018, and you know, it's like this, but recently, the more recent stuff, it's been like really bright and vibrant and things like this, very neon, which is not that. Oh god, it's not very cyberpunk. It's not very dystopian. However, right, I'm looking forward to it. It's first-person shooter. You do get to see your own character. You can take it in different ways. This is I feel what Deus Ex was like. You know, the first Deus Ex. But I don't think the emphasis on the talents, the talent trees and things like that, is that disjointed. It feels to me, in order to upgrade your talents and things, you would end up going to these special places to deal with that. So it's your choice of when to deal with it. Unlike in games like Deus Ex, where you would be dealing with it sort of like all the time kind of thing, or maybe The Witcher, you would be dealing with it all the time. But I'm certainly looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077. I've known about it since 2013 when the teaser first came out.
So like I have the thing is, when I say that I have very limited like exposure that I've deliberately gone out to like not do, like it has been very limited. Like I have not like. I have never really like I didn't really know about the cyberpunk genre, or I still don't know much about it. Like this game Cyberpunk was just like that was the game sort of thing. So I really love the aesthetics of the game, but I'm not tied to like if it comes out, it's not dark and gritty enough. Like I don't like it's not something that I will care too much about, because that is just as the game will be to me, and I just like the aesthetic as it looks like, as I've seen from trailers and stuff. But like again, like I haven't really gone in depth with gameplay like this. Actually like this is the first time I'm actually like really looking at it, because I've tried to like stay away from it as much as I could, because I want to be sort of surprised, and because of that, like I have some expectation, but I really don't know what to expect. It's kind of like the same thing with Nier Automata. I did not know what to expect from Nier Automata. I had no idea. And like when like the game started and like you were flying in that like flying suit sort of thing, and like it was like this shooting around in space sort of thing, like flying fighter. I was like, is this the game? Surely this can't be the game. But if that's the game, then apparently that's the game, and I'm curious to see how this turns out. Why Drew loves it so much. So like, and again, like I really enjoyed that. So to me, I don't know. Like I really don't know what to expect from Cyberpunk, and I really don't know because of that when it will succeed or fail for me, because I really have no big expectations. The only thing that I expect is that it will be something where like I'll turn around from and be like, hell yeah, I enjoyed that. So, I mean, like as to oppose that for like a game which has actually been like I think voted to as Game of the Year by the public choice for like the Game Awards, which has been Ghost of Tsushima, which is a game which I absolutely adored. But I did not know about that coming out until like just like a little while before I got it. Also, I'm wondering if I should skip ahead for this. I'm just like
pause it and pick another video.
Let me just go like halfway through sort of thing. I'm just kind of like wondering, like, well, I mean, like we're looking at a video that is on YouTube that is not age restricted, and you can listen to this as a podcast. But like, I'm wondering if the censors and like if the chips and like all the peoples that don't like new to these things are just like tripping and like, we don't want to get in trouble with that. Anyway,
you're fine from this point.
Yeah. So the thing that I feel is Ghost of Tsushima, I really didn't know anything about, and I absolutely adored it. Now with Cyberpunk, I have known about it for a little while. I know everyone's saying it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So for me, like it has at least a small % chance of failing. Like if I don't come around from it, it's going to be great. But I feel like I don't have high expectations. I do think, though, if we look at hype and stuff, if we look at, like, especially with Warframe updates, especially around open worlds where people are just going out of their minds and coming up with theories and things, and, people have been, like, I've seen people be so disappointed because they crafted something in their head that was so insane. That was only with, like, half a year of work. Like, they saw it at TennoCon, like, a couple months later, it was out. And even then, like, they just managed to, like, hype themselves up so much that they disappointed themselves. And I'm wondering, like, how many people right now are sat here with expectations that are beyond belief for Cyberpunk, and how many of them are going to be disappointed right now? Because I think that Cyberpunk right now is like the darling of the internet. Like anyone in gaming is kind of like talking about this, like, oh my god, it's going to be the next big game. I can't wait for it to come out. It's going to be so good. It's like, I wonder, like, is there any chance that like in a week's time, people might be, because there's so many people that just overhyped it without even knowing anything about it, that are just going to be like, yeah, actually, it's not good. It's not really life changing. I thought it was just going to like, yeah.
I think there will be, because I think, for example, one of the things that I'd be really upset about is if you look at the world right now, you can see there's hell of a lot of people out on the streets, right? I think a brilliant, so if that level of population is not present in the
release,
I will be like, well, that sucks. The next big thing is the level of population, the fidelity, the length, I like if they were to turn around and say, right, we can make this game 5 times longer, but there's no voice acting, right? I'd be like, done, do it. I don't care, right? I can pretend what they sound like, but if you've skimped on the gameplay experience just to make the whole thing seem like all voice and everything like that, I swear that's part of the thing they've done with the latest World of Warcraft expansion. Like I've blitzed through like 2 zones, which I swear back in the day, I would still be in 1 zone. I'd still be in the first zone. I've done 2 zones already, and I'm like, there's only 4, maybe 5 zones in World of Warcraft right now. So I feel that some people are catered towards in different ways. With Cyberpunk, my hope is that it's a gripping narrative. I hope that the secondary quests are diverse enough and you can do plenty of... So one of the great things about Warframe is that its mission objective types are like really diverse. You've got like assassination, you've got crap, what's the name of the rest of them? Elimination, mobile defense. You got all these different things. I really hope that Cyberpunk has that kind of expansion in the secondary objective. So even if I've secondary missions, right? So side missions, whatever. I really hope that after I've completed the story, I still want to play the game to do, because they're not bringing this with multiplayer to begin with. They're bringing multiplayer in later, and I will want to play this multiplayer with other people. Hell, I mean, if the opportunity arises, I might be able to do like an arbiters spin-off using the multiplayer aspect of it.
Oh man, can you imagine that would be so cool. Like the amount of customization that I've heard what you can do on characters. Like if there would be some like reliable way of like setting up cameras. Like I don't know how creative this will be, but it seems like they're pushing their creator remix. Like they're pushing that quite a bit, even with like this copyright free mode, which they've thrown in. So like if you want to stream it and stuff, like you can turn on you can turn off all the copyrighted songs. Like maybe there will be like this photo mode, this captura mode sort of thing.
There is a photo booth mode, but we don't know a great deal about it. I think it's like the problem is it's really static. I mean, I've just sent you a screenshot. I don't know if you want to share it with everyone else.
Oh yeah.
I am in the process of doing a World of Warcraft arbiters. Like Joey's nicknamed it Wowbiters, and we're trying to work out the best way to do it and things with the emotes and stuff. So this is my personification. This will be my personification. Like I don't know if I should go this haircut, bald, like completely bald, which I'm not, or like receded, like nothing on top, but it has a ponytail. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know what to go for. I'll work that out later. But anyway, but if there's the opportunity to do this sort of thing in Cyberpunk, I'm totally for it. As long as it's easy enough to do, 100% good to do it.
Yeah. So like the thing that I find that I'm just so curious about is like, because I have such limited knowledge, it's like what is gonna happen, because I feel like if I just read things online, let me actually like go through this comment section right here. Let's see. Like, okay, so this is the comment section of the video. It's like someone says, "Well, every time you watch this, you're 40 minutes closer to the release of the game, when the game finally releases." Let's see. Census parching naked character. Oh no, that's not there. Why are we here? Just to suffer? Who is here after delay? I mean, the other delay. Like everyone is like looking forward to this particular day. They're all just like, oh, I can't wait. It's going to be the second coming of Christ. That's the way people are treating it. Or like they come around and it seems like they're treating it. Also, someone here is called Show. I don't know if it's our show, but I can't believe I made it through 2 years of witness. I don't know if that's our show, but shout out to our show. Yeah, it's like people are like so eager for this. And the thing that I find is, on the one hand, I'm super excited because I'm super into these like single player story games, especially when like there's so much customization, like you can tailor your story, you can write your own story sort of thing. I love that shit. I'm so excited for it because I like this. I like the idea of this, as for like, even if I just like not read like the title and all the hype material, if I just read like what it is on like the super surface level, like I'm like, oh, this is something I can get down with. But I'm so afraid, I'm looking at this, I'm comparing it to like the hype that Things in Warframe got, and this hype has been going on for so much longer, and I'm just like, the only way that I can see this work is either they meet insane expectations, or there's going to be such disappointment and people just being like, and I'm just like, even though that's not going to be completely undeserved, like I don't know what can we even expect from Cyberpunk at this point, because they are also aware of this, because like they've teased it for so long. Like what do we even do at this point? I think
the big thing, the great difference between CD Projekt Red and Digital Extremes or Activision Blizzard or BioWare is that CD Projekt Red they controlled when they announced it, right? Mm-hmm. So they teased it back in 2013, and then we didn't hear anything for 5 years. We didn't hear or see hide nor hair of it for 5 years. I genuinely thought it was dead. Right, until the 2018 reveal at E3, I think, wherever they showed it, and I was so happy, Then there was one of the things that I really like about the great Cyberpunk is it's a risk that CD Projekt Red are taking. Sorry, no, going back. Yes, there is a possibility that CD Projekt Red have overhyped it, right? Mm-hmm. I think because it's been in the works for so long, they need a seriously good sale with it, right? Yeah. Which is why there's all this marketing material. I've stipulated in the last Xeno Codex, I think it was the last one, that if I don't get 30 hours of gameplay for a single playthrough, I'm going to be disappointed, right? I've spent 50 quid on this thing, I think. Yes, I'm just checking. So I click on that, go to store page. I'm pretty sure I spent 50 quid. Yes, 50 quid. I spent 50 quid on this thing. And the last thing I want is to be cheaped out of an experience. Oh, but you could just play it again in a different way. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, that I couldn't give two flying fucks about that. Like, if the one and done playthrough is not a possibility, then that they've dropped the ball with that. I'm seriously hoping for an immersive experience that is a very well told story and things. I mean, fuck, they got Keanu Reeves in it. Yeah. How much money they must have paid to get Keanu Reeves in it?
Yeah, I mean, that is crazy indeed. The thing that okay, there's a couple of things going through my mind. Let's start off with number one. First thing first, I think that they do have the benefit over Warframe, for example, which is like a live service game and a free live service game at that, where like if they issue an update, like their focus is on like new people like the update to stick around. So like hype is really important in that. Whereas Cyberpunk, like if you buy the game and then you don't like it, like because you played through it, like I don't think refunds work on like I didn't like the game because I finished it. So like they'll get their money if people will buy it. So of course it's better for them if like the game works, but like if people buy it, play it, and like I don't really like it, or like the portion of the world that was hyped about it that otherwise wouldn't have bought it because they just went with the hype and they're then disappointed. So like I mean like that's just extra sales for them at the point. So they have a benefit there.
True. But you've also got to consider the sales through word of mouth. So word of mouth is like the biggest thing, right? So it is the most God, what's the term I'm looking for? The successful method of advertising something. If something is, look, you got a hold of Nier Automata because a certain someone wouldn't stop banging on about it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, if one person keeps on hyping something, look at Among Us, right? How successful has Among Us been? Because one person started streaming it and then it took off like wildfire, right? And if a product is of sufficiently high enough caliber that people will buy it, then excellent. Look at Godfall, right? I was interested in picking up Godfall until I was like, why is no one talking about Godfall? And then you linked me that skill up video. It just highlights all the flaws within Godfall. And I'm like, oh God, no, I'm not picking up that. I don't care.
Yeah.
People bought Anthem and they were just royally screwed over. Yeah. You
know? That gets me to another point. Like the thing is that I feel as though I really want to experience Cyberpunk. I want to see this game because like we're talking about this thing where it's like maybe like what if it's bad, because like I think we're talking about that because we've seen that a lot happen with like things that are overhyped that people will be disappointed. That doesn't mean that we think it will be bad. I think it will be good. That's like famous words said before. But the thing that I have right now is like even if it's gonna be bad, I kind of want to experience it. However, my pre-order record has been Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, and I'm like, if I like, I know I want it. I know I really want to have it, but like I don't want to pre-order because first of all I don't like the pre-order thing. But on the other hand, I kind of want to like preload it so I can like play it fast. But at the same time, if I do, like let's say I do, and let's say I do pre-order so I can preload and then I can play straight away. let's say I do, and it turns out bad, then I'm gonna feel like I'm cursed because everything I pre-order will be bad. So I don't want to do that to Anthem. Oh no, I don't want to do that to Cyberpunk, and I don't want to do that to myself. But then again, like I know I'm gonna buy it anyways. Like, I don't know what should I do?
So first off, I mean, there's a big difference between Cyberpunk, Anthem, and Mass Effect Andromeda. The two games that were absolute shite were both done by EA.
Oh yeah, good call.
All right. Secondly, you should probably check to see whether or not your PC can actually handle Anthem. Sorry, not Anthem. Cyberpunk 22. Well, I know it can't handle Anthem. Nothing can handle Anthem.
No, but I know. I mean, I'm probably going to be playing on console anyway. Because my PC can't handle it. I mean, my PC could not handle Anthem, so I'm sure as hell it won't handle Cyberpunk. And like, I'm not going to get a new PC before Cyberpunk releases. So I think it's going to be.
I'm just looking at this. The specs for Cyberpunk are actually surprisingly low. So their recommended is a 4th gen i7 or an AMD Ryzen 3 3200, 12 gig of RAM, a GeForce 1060, right? Or a Radeon.
Okay, I run a 960.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm still surprised at how low end these specs are. They recommend DirectX 12 and storage of 70 gig of available hardware space, and minimum of SSD recommended.
Oh man. But that's only even if you get the low end spec sort of thing, I think you're going to be missing out on the experience, which like I know I say right now, and it's like, oh, that sounds like you got to buy the latest thing, but I do think if you're running bare minimum, like your experience is gonna be weird anyway. And like I mean, like the thing that I'm running on like the PC that I would play it on sort of thing, because I would play it on my like gaming PC, like gaming laptop sort of thing, because then I could stream it and I could make content about it. Like that's running a Core i7 6700 HQ with 16 gigs of RAM in that, which is like that's not gonna pull it. And then a GTX 960M. So, it's once I get a new computer, I'll probably get it on computer as well, or on PC as well. If it's like super good, I'll just get it on PC, and especially if multiplayer comes around, I'll probably.
Wow, dude, the minimum graphics card is a 780.
What? Really?
Yeah, no, seriously. The minimum graphics card is a 780. So the minimum CPU is a 3rd gen i5. 8 gig of RAM, it'll probably look like butt, a GeForce GTX 780, DirectX 12, 70 gig of, so they've really dropped it down, so I'm just having a look on there.
Right here we have, let me see if we can well, that really didn't zoom it in. But yeah, you have system requirements minimum is resolution of 1060p, GFX settings low, OS 64-bit Windows 7 or 64-bit Windows 10. Processor is Intel i5 3570K or AMD FX 83010. Damn. Memory 8 gigs, graphics card GTX 780 or Radeon RX 470, VRAM of 3 gigs, and storage of 70 gig HDD or SSD recommended. The recommended specs are for 1080p with high GFX settings is 64-bit Windows 10, Intel Core i7 4790, AMD Ryzen 3 3200G, 12 gigs of memory, then a GTX 1060 6GB card or GTX 1660 Super, then a Radeon RX 590, 6 gigabytes of free RAM and a 70 gigabyte SSD storage. That's recommended. And let's go to Ultra straight away. Actually, let's go to Ray Tracing Ultra. I think that's like the highest thing that you can go for.
Oh god, yeah.
That's like for 2160p. GFX settings of Ray Tracing Ultra, 64-bit Windows 10 is recommended. Then an Intel Core i7 6700, an AMD Ryzen.
It's not recommended. It's required. You need 64-bit Windows 10.
Required. No, it's required. Like they're required for that thing. Or a AMD Ryzen 5 3600 and up, 16 gigs of memory. But I mean, like you'll probably need more than that. RTX 3080 Damn, they're requiring an RTX 3080 for the ultra settings.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised by that.
I mean, still though, it's like even the RTX 3070, like how low? I actually wonder how many people, like how big will their numbers be of people that will actually be able to play RT Ultra? Because how many RTX 3080 or 3070 cores are even in the wild? It's so little. It is so little. Actually, a topic which I wanted to add actually today, which is quite interesting, for like about like someone or some group of people have stolen over $300,000 worth of RTX 3090s, I believe, in from MSI in China.
What?
They took 40 crates of the cards. And,
Wow.
They're out and about now. And MSI is after them with like bounties and stuff because those things are gold now.
Anyway, I think let's round off the episode here.
Yeah, let's do so.
Any questions? Please feel free to shove them in the comments below if you're on YouTube, or in chat right now if you're on Twitch. We'll obviously touch the chat ones immediately, but comments will for the blah 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 blah. YouTube comments will be next week, obviously.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm certainly looking forward to CyberPunk. I have high expectations, so I hope it doesn't disappoint. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, me too. I'm excited for it. Let's see. We have Steph asking, dumb question. AMD Ryzen 5 2600 is how much worse than the 3600? I don't necessarily know about the difference in these generations because.
Well, no. First off, that's a Ryzen. What the hell is a Ryzen 25 2600? Never heard of it.
2600 would have probably been Zen 1. Let's see. I think
Hold
so.
on.
Ryzen 5 20.
Well, I thought it went as low as 3600. I didn't think it was 2600.
It's generations because you also have a 1600, right? Like it's generations.
I would probably say significantly worse. Yeah, second generation.
Yeah.
Right. I would probably say it's significantly worse because it's like the difference between a i7 second gen and an i7 third gen. It's like going to be slightly different architecture, but it could have huge difference in performance.
Yeah. I mean, you could take a look at like these benchmarks comparisons. Again, like benchmarks don't speak everything because they're only tested on certain things, but you can see where they stack up, sort of thing. And this
isn't good because like even though it's like you could get I had an i7 second gen, and I couldn't run Anthem. No, was it Anthem? No, there was one game I couldn't run for a damn because I was on a second gen i7. But if I was on a third gen i7, it makes all the difference, and it's just because of the architecture and how it is able to do all the calculations and shit like that.
Yeah, so that could be a big difference, for sure. Actually, I'm going to ask a question to myself. Hey, Michel, when is going to be the last FrameCast of this year? Hey, funny you ask, it's going to be next week. So next week, right, we're doing the last FrameCast of the year, and then we take a short little holiday break.
Yeah, it will actually be on the Wednesday rather than Tuesday this time, because we're going to have at least one guest with us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And maybe two. We will see if there will be more people joining us. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're like, I'm planning to do like a little bit of like a, looking back at 2020 stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Oh God. It's a good thing it's on the other side of CyberPunk.
Oh yeah, it will be. Maybe we spent like 2 hours long like talking about CyberPunk. We don't even get to like the thing that we wanted to talk about.
The rest of it.
And it's like. Or maybe someone puts a very interesting comment in the comment section and we don't even get to CyberPunk because we just keep on rambling on about this one.
That's not going to happen.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I think that we're gonna round it up right now. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week again. If you want to see more of this amazing voice on the other side in the dark, go check out youtube.com/Xenogelion or youtube.com/10 o'clock for the 10 o'clock podcast. Maybe we will see some great new arbiters at some point with some great new models. Or
World of Warcraft style.
Ooh, that's gonna be exciting. But yeah, check him out right there. Or go to his Patreon, which I think I don't know if that's still a meme right here with the FrameCast, but check out his Patreon. Patreon.com/Xenogelion. Give that money. Because why wouldn't you? And if you want to see this FrameCast live, if you want to catch it one more time in 2020, be sure that you're there next Wednesday, from like the same time, but then tomorrow. Like Wednesday, next Wednesday. Catch it next Wednesday on Twitch /MichelPostma or watch it on youtube.com/PostmaLongGames. That being said, when it comes to the the podcasting platforms, like last week again, I screwed up. I uploaded episode 48 instead of like the 64. I've deleted episode 48 from my hard drive. I don't know why I did it, but the good episode will be up, and this week we also should have the good episode. If it's not right, just tweet at me and I'll fix it. I don't know how I did it wrong, but like, yeah, it's also findable right there. Just go into like Apple or Spotify or whatever thing you have. Go into your mobile, just type in FrameCast, you'll find it, probably. I guess. Joe gets a thumbs up. You happy?
Yeah, I am.
All right, now it's time for us to go and sleep. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week.
Bye.